The dates and location for Lightapalooza 2025 have been announced. It's going to be January 20 through the 23rd at the Hilton in Dallas, Texas, which means because it's in January, you won't see the Cowboys play because, well, it'll be playoffs and they never make it anymore.
That's why do Canadians care about American football?
Right, there you go.
Because have you ever watched Canadian football? That's why we care about American football.
That exists?
So is Doug Flutie. Are you saying he's an actor?
No,
He's one of the greatest football players that Canada ever produced.
So I'm sorry, now you're comparing McNabb to a teeny tiny little man who's named after a woodwind instrument? What are we even talking about?
On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk Google's new streamer, Lightapalooza, and OneVision partners with HTSA. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek. This is ResiWeek, episode 442, Too Many Shows. Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matty Scott for AVNation.tv, and this week I'm pleased to be joined by three of my good friends. First, we have Mr. Taft Stricklin. He is the dude at Just Add Power. How you doing, Taft?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's summer. It's nice.
That is a word for it.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Then we have Avi Rosenthal. He's a partner at Bluesalve. How you doing, Avi?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I also, it's like summer. It's hot. I'm ready for it to be fall.
I'm ready for winter, so I'm with you. I like it. Last but certainly not least, as we go east to west, we've got Alex Capecelatro. He's the founder of Josh.ai. How you doing, Alex?
Doing great. Always good to join you guys.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen, we are going to jump right in with a story that comes to us from CE Pro. Google is reportedly preparing to release a set-top box streaming device. They're getting rid of their dongle form factor, which they've been using for a couple of years, and getting into an actual kind of wedge-shaped oval device thing. You can click through the CE Pro article to get over to 9 to 5 Google to see some imagery of that. It looks like, again, a fully different form factor, a new remote, all kinds of fancy jazz. Taft, let me start with you on this. Is this do you think this is a good move for them to move away from the dongle that you can just kind of, slide into any TV anywhere without any wiring, etc., and go to an actual physical large-ish device?
I think it's a good idea because didn't the Chromecast come out like 12 years ago?
It's been around a minute.
Yeah, and then they updated it like, I don't know, 15 years ago? Sorry, that was a joke. They updated it maybe like 8 years ago. I read the article and I went, oh, it's about time. Like, okay. Everybody's dealt with the form factor of a box and not just a dongle, and everybody's built very powerful boxes. So I feel like they're late to the party, but they're Google, they're big, and I think it really makes sense for them to enter the market. So just wish they would have done it a while ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. Avi, kind of to that point, is this a bit of a too late reaction by them to go to a larger form factor, which, and I'm going to make some broad assumptions here, but go to the larger form factor, which gives them more processing, more feature sets that they can put into the device at, in theory, a lower cost, whether we see the lower cost or not. But again, they should be able to do a whole lot more with the bigger sized box that literally everybody else has. Is that what you think they're doing here?
It's a really good question, because on the one hand, every decent television these days is a smart television and doesn't need a box, right? So Apple still has a box, but even Apple has acquiesced, and the Samsungs and LGs and Sonys, you can do Apple within the television. You don't need an external box anymore. So I'm wondering how big the market could be at this point for the televisions that don't have intelligence built into them and that require an outboard box. And then when I look at the shape of it, the first thought I had was, where am I putting it? Does it go behind the soundbar? Does it go alongside the soundbar? At least a dongle, you shoved it in the back, and who the hell cared what it looked like? It's, it's stuck out of the back of the television. So let's say that they did exactly what you said. They put a bigger processor, maybe a little bit more memory. It's a little bit smoother operation. now I'm probably the odd one out. I'm not going to go out and buy one, right? Because what the heck do I need one for? Every television I have already has all the apps built into it. So you're dealing with, who exactly the market is for. They're 3 to 4 years late. Roku at this point is putting a lot of intelligence in their box. So one of the rumors that I heard about this Google box is that it'll have a Matter chip in it. So it'll be a Matter edge router. Okay. Mm-hmm. That makes a little bit more sense, right? Because Google needs more boxes in the house. The Amazon people, have a lot of little boxes in the house. And so Google says, oh, well, this is another opportunity for us to have another box in the house. Makes perfect sense. But I'm not sure I would have called it Google TV. I think I would have made it something else if I was headed in that direction. So it'll be interesting to see what the price point is and whether or not the Roku people, who, by the way, are putting some smarts in their box and are putting some home smarts in their box, the same way the Amazon people did, where it sort of fits in the family, in the industry.
All right, Alex, I'm trying to figure out a polite way to say this. Is this kind of just a non-story? Because I get it. They're bringing a streamer. They hopefully will be a better streamer than their previous streamer, which arguably kind of sucked. But for anybody other than somebody who's trying to, throw something onto a really crappy smart TV platform, who needs this?
Yeah. So my attitude is it all comes down to the software. Unless there's something radically new and different and, valuable that they build into the software, this is really a non-story. When we look at what's out there today, a lot of people love their Apple TVs. After that, we see a lot of Rokus, a smaller amount of NVIDIA Shields. We see some of the Amazon Fire TVs. I just don't see this going into the homes that our community deals with. There's always an understanding that they're trying to catch up. They're trying to have a Me Too product. From everything I've seen, this isn't going to do anything that makes someone clamor for it. The consumer space, maybe it's different. You've got some kid in a dorm room going to college and they can put, a $30 Google TV thing, behind their monitor. Yeah, I could see that happening. I just don't see it going into any of the homes that our channel deals with.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the Matter side will be interesting to see. But again, it'll be interesting to see if they do something with it and if they can effectively make it happen and make it work for those consumers that are playing with it. All right, let's change topics for a second. This one comes to us as well from CE Pro. Excuse me. The dates and location for Lightapalooza 2025 have been announced. It's going to be January 20 through the 23rd at the Hilton in Dallas, Texas, which means because it's in January, you won't see the Cowboys play because, well, it'll be playoffs and they never make it anymore. Yeah, great, right?
Alienate everybody, Matt. Just go ahead. Look for the full sweep. There you go.
Exactly. I made a joke about it, though. It's valid.
It's what do Canadians care about American football?
Right, there you go.
Because have you ever watched Canadian football? That's why we care about American football.
That exists?
Yeah, it seems. They try to throw it down my throat every summer. All right. So this is cool. It has become, honestly, a standalone show that a lot of integrators are going to, and they are talking this one up as if they're going to be doing some very, very cool and expanded things in this. Avi, let me start with you on this. Do you see this show, becoming kind of something that the industry really needs to attend? Mm-hmm. And two, do you think they're going to continue to expand this show well beyond lighting? Last year, they brought in energy and power.
Yep.
And my view is that they kind of need to evolve it beyond just lighting to pull people in.
Yeah.
More than they already.
I'm just thrilled that it's not the same week as another major trade show, right? Thank God it's not the same week as the Builders Show. Yeah, it's another trip to Texas, but hey, I'm on the road all the time anyway, so I'm happy to go. But to get to your question, I absolutely agree with you. I think between the lighting designers and the other subsystems in the home, this really has the potential to becoming a true home control show. All right, starting with the core lighting, I think was an excellent idea. Throw in some drapes and shading, throw in some control, throw in some, some intelligence now. and then wrap it all together with the design element and the lighting designers and things. And I really think that there is something special about it. It's not to take away from the other trade events that happen during the year, but I think the focus of this one for the integrator to teach them, why is Alex stuff the right application for this thing? Why is the Control 4 application the right thing for this installation? How do you tie it all together? As good as the previous history has been, is as bad as education is within our industry right now. And I think Lightapalooza has a real opportunity here to set itself apart, make it a destination in the middle of winter when things tend to be a little bit slower and people are looking for opportunities to position themselves for the summertime, for the selling season. So I really do believe that Lightapalooza is going to be something special. I can tell you, I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it.
I like it. Alex, is this something where they've opened the show beyond just their membership, which initially it was a members only event. They've obviously expanded it greatly over the last couple of years. Where does it fit in amongst the slate of industry shows? Obviously we have CD Expo, and then we have a bunch of smaller, distributor shows, but the buying group shows continue to grow and evolve. What does that mean for the landscape of the industry?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. So first thing, I think we have to note, Tom Doherty, the guy behind Lightapalooza, also founded CEDIA. He understands how to put on big industry events. Second thing to know is, while I am on the CEDIA board, I'm the current chair, I'm not speaking on behalf of CEDIA, just speaking on behalf of Alex. We need to understand that CEDIA, the organization, sold the trade show to Emerald and cannot do a competing event. So that has opened up this dynamic where a lot of manufacturers supported the show because they were supporting the industry. They were supporting our trade association. Now supporting the show is supporting a third-party company. Mm-hmm. That doesn't have the same pull that it would have had, 10 or 20 years ago. So I think Tom is really tapping into this idea that CEDIA, the association, can't compete with CEDIA Expo. He can put on a show that does a lot of, competing education, do a bunch of booths. I'm not saying that's what he's trying to do right now, but it can certainly grow in that direction. Mm-hmm. I do think Lightapalooza is very uniquely positioned in that everyone who goes has told me the education that they get out of it is the best education really of any event they're going to throughout the year. More than CEDIA Expo, more than ISE, more than, KBIS and some of the other, tangential events. The education is really second to none. And so from what I understand, and I've spoken to Tom a little bit about this, but he certainly has evolved it since we last spoke. I think he wants to continue to educate members as robustly as possible. I think he does see lighting as a really important emerging trend, but also we all understand lighting is tied into energy. It's tied into control. It's part of a lot of other bigger systems, if you will. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a leap beyond, sort of the focus on lighting. That being said, I think we're going to see more classroom, more education, more really high quality instruction time. And the numbers just keep growing, right? He started at 200 attendees. He's, well over 1,000, maybe going to be over 2,000 this year. I think it's a really good show, and he doesn't have the constraints that some of the others have in terms of where he can take it.
All right, Taft, wrap this up for us. As a manufacturer, right, this show may not be directly in your lane as a manufacturer right now, but it could, again, grow into that this year. It could grow into that in 2 years or 3 years down the road. At what point are there too many shows for manufacturers to attend?
There already are too many shows for manufacturers. And it's a matter of
never enough shows.
Oh no, there's enough shows. There's enough shows. It's just yeah. It's just, are all of them owned by Ticketmaster? I mean, Emerald. Yeah. And I can see Lightapalooza really, really growing. The feedback that I've heard from dealers and manufacturers and reps and whatnot that have gone were just like, this was so good. Even without Jane's Addiction there. Because the last time that I went to Lollapalooza, I saw Jane's Addiction. So very similar.
Very
similar. But
Yeah.
I think there's too many shows right now. I'm encouraged to see a show come along that's new that I feel like really adds value. And I hate to overuse that term, but there's a lot of things that have been swallowed up that, on a bigger basis or smaller basis, where, quality time, bang for your buck, they're, you could do a show every single week, in a year, basically, and have the week of Thanksgiving and that Christmas break off, and other than that, you're going. So I'm encouraged to see this. Was excited when it came about, knowing that Tom was going to run it, because Tom's a very passionate guy and very skilled.
Yeah.
So I think it's awesome. But yes, there are too many shows.
Glad we got that out of the way.
I agree, by the way. I mean, when you add, the different association shows, the buying group shows, all the tech summits, I mean, it is exhausting as a manufacturer, and I would love to see less shows. I just don't know which shows don't need to exist.
See, you guys need to, build out your careers, have a good time, retire, and come join me on the side of consulting. We love the shows. When you don't have to pay for them, and you don't have to set up, and you don't have to break down, a trade show is a wonderful experience. So I welcome you to come and join and be a part of the real enjoyable side that is a trade event.
I love that take. As this week I looked at 4 shows and declined all of them. And only one of those shows that I declined was I actually upset about not being able to go to. So maybe I'll get there, Avi. I'll try. I'll see what we can do. All right.
Okay.
Let's hit our last story of the day. This comes to us from Residential Systems. OneVision Resources partners with HTSA. All HTSA members now have access to OneVision's white label 24/7 remote support and turnkey RMR solutions. So go check that out, especially if you're an HTSA member, because again, you've got access to OneVision right now. Alex, let me start with you on this. This is obviously good for OneVision. It's good for HTSA members. Is this a bit of a response to the evolving RMR service landscape within the industry right now, with Snap's acquisition of Control4 and then ADI's acquisition of Snap?
I'm actually looking forward to throwing this over to Avi here in a second, because what I'm hearing in the industry right now, and I'm curious because I don't follow too much of this particular story closely. I mean, I know OneVision, I know some of the people involved, but what I've been hearing in the industry is, ever since the ADI announcement has been made, every single aspect of Snap and Control4 and their product offerings seem to be getting basically ripped apart. And what I mean by that is, I'm hearing dealers saying, I'm tired of their cameras, I'm tired of their speakers, I'm tired of their networking gear, I'm tired of their, whatever they call their service plan, or the remote support, software, whatever that happens to be. And, for us on the control side, we get it all the time with people saying, we're just tired of the RMAs and the support issues and the software issues and the integration issues. It just seems like quality is eroding. And so I look at this as an indicator that HTSA members are probably just looking for an alternative. OneVision happens to be, the right position company there. But Avi, you kind of know this a little bit closer than I do. I'm curious what you think.
And Alex, look, you're not wrong, right? There's a lot of fatigue out there with what's going on. There's a lot of fear and uncertainty, right? Is the ADI acquisition of Snap AV and Control4 going to really affect a Control4 dealer? Are they not going to have the kind of exclusivity that they've been enjoying for these great number of years? Are the offerings going to change radically because of it? And so I think the HTSA members saw the landscape, understood what was going on with their members, polled everybody and said, all right, what do you want to do? And HTSA said, you know what? There are alternatives. Let's partner with somebody. Let's get in front of this. Let's give people a choice and an option so that they can then make the choice. Because, Matt, to your question, RMR is becoming increasingly important to the integrator, right? If you're not driving RMR in your business, you are leaving money on the table. There's no doubt about it. And by the way, if you're not getting it, your competitors are. So RMR is a very important factor. And I think HTSA, again, being a leader in our space, said, let's educate our members. Let's get our members connected with people who can help them understand RMR offerings. Let's put a cohesive strategy in front of them, and let's give them an opportunity to gravitate towards this next evolution of integration. And so, yeah, there's some fatigue out there, no doubt about it, but there's always fatigue, right? If it's not this manufacturer this month, it's a different manufacturer next month. So I wouldn't necessarily lay it at somebody's one particular foot or the other, but what I would say is recurring revenue, service and support structure, making sure that you're making offerings to your clients is very important to your bottom line and very important to your company's longevity. And so I applaud HTSA for recognizing that, partnering with somebody good in the industry and being able to place that offering. The integrators need to take a serious look at this. It's incumbent on them to get educated about the differences between the various offerings in the marketplace. And look, we could do a whole show, right, on the differences of RMR and the different ways of doing RMR and all of that. But if you're an HTSA member, this is a really great opportunity for you. Dig in. Your folks sat down, negotiated a deal, put it in front of you. Take advantage of it. Take a look and see what the offering is.
That's a great point. Taft, finish this off for us. In theory, this should make the connection with OneVision a lot easier for those HTSA members as far as onboarding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Is that kind of been the holdup with dealers not jumping on the 24/7 outsource service model, or is it the pushback from clientele?
I think integrators get set in their ways, and then it's normal for when something different comes along that people initially reject it. And I feel like OneVision is cutting edge, bleeding edge, bringing something different to the whole sector with 24/7 support. And, you know, I had the opportunity to kind of hear their pitch a handful of years ago, and just went, oh, wow, this is cool. And the dealer they were meeting with was going, well, Cletus, who, works full-time, doesn't mind, and I slip him a few extra bucks to answer his cell phone. And it just kind of like, I would much rather have something like OneVision than just, the cell phone number for Cletus. That's neither here nor there. I think that, again, cutting edge, bleeding edge, they came along, they offered something that was completely different that nobody else was doing, that frankly, I hadn't even really thought about, and then we'll see, how long until that's taken over by a chatbot.
Yeah, that's true. All right, gentlemen, we shall leave it there. Thank you all for joining us. Alex, if people want to connect with you, learn more about Josh.ai, where can they do that?
So you can always go to the website, Josh.ai, but also we're a month out. Come to CEDIA Expo. Our company's headquartered right in Denver. Come to the office, hang out. We're going to have a fun time.
Excellent. Avi, my friend, thank you for joining us. If people want to connect with you, learn more about Bluesalve, where can they do that?
Again, thanks, Matt, for having me on. They can go to bluesalve.com, or they can reach out to me on the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the any of the Instagrams, all of those, social media things. But most of our information is at Bluesalve, and we will also be at CEDIA. So please come join us. It should be a great expo this year.
Fantastic. Taft, thank you for joining us. To wrap it up, if they want to connect with you, learn more about Just Add Power, where can they find that info?
Well, we'll be showing a bunch of cool stuff at CEDIA this year. And you can reach us at justaddpower.com or Taft at justaddpower.com. And we're on all the socials as well, posting cool stuff and videos and product. And all sorts of things. So hopefully we see you in Denver.
Excellent. All right. Thank you again for joining us. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Twitter or X at Matt D. Scott and most other social platforms. But more importantly, please visit AVNation.tv, where you'll find this show as well as a wide variety of other shows with all the verticals that we cover. When you visit the website, please take a moment to check out our supporters. We are extremely thankful for their support and ask that you check them out as well. Thanks again for watching. That's all the time we have for this episode of ResiWeek,
the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.